Ben Posh, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes, I am saying that the data exists. Now, for this information, I want to thank the team at the PSOJ, Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, because let me tell you, I know little work for provide this data. I know little work. It's big, lot of data. And again, I just want to run through what they have as the informal sector, the industries. It touches all industries. Mining and manufacturing.
One second. We just want to say welcome again to persons just joining. We are looking on small businesses and the impact of COVID-19. How do these businesses get a push start? Because as we hear from our co-host, her business is one of her business, because she has several, was in the hairdressing. She had to close down. It was not an easy decision to close. Some people will not close because of ego. Some people will, but guess what? You have to take it and believe that you must have hope and rise again.
And I have billionaire friends like Know Your Money Matters, so I don't have to really worry.
Well, what is funny is that small businesses right now have a major role in the recovery of the country. So let
me give you the rundown why it is so critical that real help is provided. So
everybody is feeling it. Everybody is feeling it, Yannick. But we want to make sure that we have a takeaway for the person.
No, we're not giving up. We're not giving up. Here we go. So we got mining and quarrying, manufacturing, electric, gas and water, construction, hotel, repairs of motor vehicles, sales and repairs of motor vehicle, hotels, restaurant, transport, storage and communications, financial intermediation, real estate renting, public admin and defense, education, health and social work, other community, social and personal service, private household with employed persons, and industries that are extras. And data exists. So what we have is, almost 1 million people in the informal sector. And again, these are based on some tax authority data, some statistical institute data, from the sales route of the beers and the beverage because they know the people. So I mean, it's not, as I said, not light work, that we went to the different associations, Jamaica Household Workers Association, Ministry of Local Government, just the Pharmacy Council of Jamaica. So many industries were touched. And I am saying to you, Sir J, the intervention has to be meaningful, okay? Has to be. Because guess what? My small business don't just lock down, My landlord has to go find somebody to replace me. How long is it going to take to find a replacement tenant? So he's out of pocket for maybe a year for somebody to take the space. I then have to let go staff. They then have to look for work. I mean, all of the, one person who has a business is a little ecosystem.
Yes, because we call it the trickle-down effect, because right away, the employees that you had, they are out of work right now, right? But what we're trying to say is that it is very challenging. Small business is the backbone of every single country, small business, because they have diversified economies, Because what you find is where one company decide that they are doing only lumber, you find the small business person, they get up, they have a cook shop, they have a barber shop, they have a taxi on the road. So it just goes to show that small business can be very diversified. And we need to find a way now to look at an organization, probably say the Development Bank of Jamaica, through whatever means, they find a way to get some funding to pass through some intermediaries, to give reasonable loans to these small business to get ahead again, to rise up and move on, because that's the only way it's going to happen. Because there's no way that small business without proper security, so to speak, going to walk in a commercial bank and walk out with a loan. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They have to have a specially designed program to push start these persons. You don't need to worry about the big company, you know. The big company have all the ways and means to get right bonds and papers, commercial, you need it. So we are not looking at them, none at all. We are looking at how the small person can get up tomorrow morning and restart their business.
You see, and the challenge is, you have some banks where making some spreads that are heavy. And the truth is, without government intervention, without the development bank intervention, the cost of credit cannot go down. Because the banks are going to look at a small business as high risk. And they're going to price the money accordingly. Whereas a development bank, which is really backed by taxpayers, can come in and open what we like to call a special window and offer 5%. You know, offer it for 3 years and say, listen, this is money to get you back on your feet. I'm
going to go better than that. Offer it for 5 years. Because it gives you a long horizon to repay at such a tiny amount. Because the rate needs to be so small. So this is a level. This is the level of what we would like. Because we said again, most small business are severely impacted. And it's not only in Jamaica, it's right across the world. Some places across the world, they start to provide intervention to assist the small business sector. We understand what is going on in the US because we read. In Jamaica, we definitely need not the handout to say, here is $10,000, go do something. We want them to get up back and restart. So the economy opens slowly. That's what we need into collaborating too. The financial institution need realistic payment plan and interest rates for small businesses. That's exactly some of the solutions. And that happens
when the government backs it. It doesn't happen if the banks themselves back it, because they're going to say, look, we have shareholders to answer to, so we have no incentive.
It's not going to come from the deposit base of the bank to lend back. It's not going to come from it. It's going to come from intervention to government support.
That's right. It has to come from somewhere like the development bank that has the insurance. They have creditor insurance. The creditor insurance says if the person defaults, the bank don't lose. The money is insured.
Yes.
And that is a huge development that came probably 2 years ago. So the development bank who can give this creditor an insurance to the bank then protects taxpayers and shareholders' money. So the money is not at risk. And that's what needs to happen. Okay, there needs to be, and the application form should not be onerous. Okay, it should not.
There has to be, hold on, Denise. There has to be a special window, and that special window will come with special things. It can't be that form that things going to be written on it that they're not going to know how to fill it out. Yeah, we're going to expect that they will have someone to guide them through the process. But you don't want anything that scares them. That's not what you want. Right. You want a very simple process that the person can go to, and they are getting the assistance. You find some ways to tie them back. You understand? Because right away they would start to create employment, because small business is the engine of job creation.
Anybody who does small business without employing people will fail. You're this whole thing where me alone must make money cannot work, right? So the training, there's also training that needs to happen for small businesses. You know, the system of compliance. For me to leave work, to go drive, go stand up at a tax office, for go do this or that is just no. So compliance needs to take account the SME sector. The special window by the development bank needs to take into consideration, given that you have the creditor insurance, you can give loans that are not burdensome to apply for or burdensome to service.
Yeah, because remember, Denise, the person not going to just walk in and say, I come here for $500,000 and walk out with it. You know, they're going to be an assessment, but the assessment will take into consideration a lot of little factors, and it's not going to be a drag-out process that they don't know. There are institutions, as I said, we have, for argument's sake, the DBJ. Yes, the DBJ are very supportive, you know, of small business. What I know that they need at this time is just another layer to say, all right, you're going to get this, you're going to pass it to some intermediaries and get the ball a roll to bring back these small business. Because the truth about the DBJ process right now, you know, you can get from an AFI or an MFI a DBJ facility, and you really don't have to register through company's office. Because as long as the institution know that you are a small business and you have certain documentation, they will grant you the transaction. Because it's up to the institution to make sure. So there has to be a way that you know that you are in the tax net, right? Has to be a way that government can track the money that they're putting out there. So we want small businesses to start think that do not worry about that. If you get your business registered, you're going to be paying taxes. You're going to be doing this. No, you only pay tax from profit that you make. So let us get a mindset change to assist a small business. They refocus and think that by doing this, I am going to get some benefits. And probably that might be one of the challenges that the government might have it. Because although these surveys are done, right, they still can't get the persons to come out and say, we want to operate this business. See us here and let us can account for you and now put us a framework in place to assist them. But for those that we know that shut doors without cash flow to reopen, we want to find a way that a government-backed situation can assist them to reopen. Because they have families to feed. They have families to feed. Wow. We want to thank persons and the viewers for joining us tonight as to how COVID have impacted businesses. And our co-host, Denise, is sharing her experience with us. We are kicking out suggestions right now, and we still believe now at this point, based on the suggestion and feedback, that the government, through the DBJ, at least one such identified institution, is one of those to kickstart the small business sector.
And it's important because I believe because the creditor insurance protects the lender. So it is not a case of you being out there as the lender exposed. You have protection. And therefore, with that protection, you can step up and say, look, by rescuing the small business sector, you save jobs. Because the truth is, when someone leaves the bar, it's not like Wisynco or Grace Kennedy are going to hire them. People generally stay in their sector. That's just the nature of humanity. And therefore, when the small business sector is rescued, you then are able to see jobs. Because that's the name of the game, jobs.
But Denise, as I hear you talk about the bar again, you know, there is something that I want to make sure that we point out to the small business persons. because quite a lot of them may have loans right now, and they might not sure what to do. I am saying one suggestion: find a financial institution and restructure your loan. You have one?
Yes, yes, and I've done so. I have done so. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to. You have to.
All right. And another thing that I want to suggest to them: find a small business association and join, collaborate.
Absolutely.
Because there's power and strength in numbers.
Absolutely.
There's power and strength in numbers. Numbers give you power.
Make a Facebook page, put your information there. You can join. Absolutely.
Okay. Because what will happen in this new wave, you know, is that when these persons get back to a position where they get their loan refinanced, they get an additional facility through a special window. Right there and then they will be able to take on 2 more persons, take on 3 more persons. And that's how we're going to get job creation. So job creation not only going to come back from tourism or call center. We have these small businesses have been creating employment long before we get call center.
Yeah.
So we can't make the mistake and say everything going to call center. We can't do that. We can't do that, you know. Because guess what? Before and after call center, we will always have our small business person that is
and also the thing is that the whole concept of a call center is you're not really building your career there, you know. It's like a stopgap job until your next move in life. So I would say that it would benefit. I mean, what is there to lose when you have a dynamic small business sector? What do you have to lose? Nothing.
Yeah, I want to say all jobs matter, because this is Money Matters. So all job matters. But specifically, the job creation, really sustainable ones, going to come from entrepreneurs building and creating that level of wealth. Because as I said, they were there before call centers, they're going to be there after call centers. Call centers is providing an economic balance, but we still want that small person. Because it don't take $1 or 100,000 to start up a call center. Millions. It takes 100,000 for that small person to start, get goods going, start turning over, sales, take on 1 man. The problem, you know, in Jamaica, and a few weeks ago, I interviewed the jellyman Jacko in New Kingston, and a lot of persons would pass now and don't recognize him as a businessman. That A, pay taxes, B, provide employment, C, buying vehicle and have to pay taxes on the same vehicle that carrying his goods. So persons are not seeing small business person in this light, you know. That's a businessman. That's a businessman. It provides a service every single day for employees in New Kingston. But persons don't see them as a business, right? But every single small business matters. Every single one of them, right? We know some people are going to get scared, not want to come back. They might try their hand at something different. But we want to make sure that tonight, the takeaway for any business person out there who, well, COVID basically touched everybody, but new opportunities came out of COVID as well. So for you who already running with an opportunity for COVID, and you that was there, revisit your thing. And as I said, make sure that you look at your credit, because even to get funds in the new thing, your credit report, and you're going to want to make sure that your credit not look too bad when you go before that institution, right? Fear is definitely a factor. Well, we can't run from fear, just right. It's true, but guess what? Fear propel you sometime, you know. It propel you sometime. You have a fear that you don't want to fail, and you're going to even put out more just to make sure you don't fail. So fear of its benefit. It's of its benefit. It's of its benefit, just right. Yeah. So Denise, we are basically out of time. I want you to leave some takeaway for not necessarily your association, because your association might be quite a number of the small business, but the micro business, the one man out there, the person with the 2 employees. What we can say to them right now? Are they going to come?
I will give you encouragement, because as someone who has experienced the effects of COVID, you know, you have to strengthen up yourself. Yeah? I would say right now is the time to look left, look right, look up, look down. Who are you spending time with? Are you spending time with people lifting you up, giving you encouragement to go forward? Or are you spending time with people who are tearing you down and reminding you of all that went wrong? You don't really need to dwell in the past. You know, people say it, but it's really a drain on your energy. You need to look forward. This is also a time, believe it or not, for you to shop around for the right banker. This is time for you to talk to the banks who are talking to you.
Right. We hope somebody will get some of your services at a reasonable price.
Well, yes, I'm a financial coach, but I meant when you are dealing with when it's time to take your advice, Sir Jay, which is to rework your debt, consolidate debt. If it's time to do that, talk to a banker who speaks with you with respect. Of course, my services can be had at a reasonable price, because my job is to coach my clients to the next level. Okay? If you need that service, I am here. However, this is so many things you can do to take your power back, right? I personally am working with that to take my power back from what I feel like is a failure. So I would encourage everyone to stand in your greatness. The thing with COVID, they talk about we're in it together. Yeah. And then you alone are face what you're facing. There's strength in numbers.